Welcome to Building Solid Foundations. I'm your host, Steve Matley. We are on KCAA 1050 AM. You can also catch us on Roku, Amazon, and Android on the Building Solid Foundations channel. That's a free download, Building Solid Foundations channel. Our show, along with a lot of other great shows, are on those channels, so you want to check that out if in case you miss any of the live broadcast. We also rebroadcast our shows on Sundays if you miss the Thursday live broadcast. Today, we have a special guest, someone I've known for a long time, actually serves as the producer of this show and other shows as well. A connector, entrepreneur, works with marketing, branding, and helping entrepreneurs with their media support. This is Marie Waite. Some of you may know her. She runs a networking group called Fire Up Connect. Also, Finest Women in Real Estate, the International Wealth Builders Association, founded the nonprofit Inland Valley Business and Community Foundation, and others as well. There's a lot of things that are going on there. So, Marie, welcome to Building Solid Foundations.
Hi, Steve. Thank you for inviting me here.
All right, so you've got a lot of different things, and probably more than we can possibly cover in this show. So, what we're going to start with is just kind of looking at how you got into what you're doing, because what you're doing is you work with established businesses and with startup entrepreneurs, and you're usually you're helping them to create a presence, create a reputation. You've got books, you've got magazines, you've got TV shows, you've got radio shows, you have networking groups, you have speaking opportunities, you have all kinds of events you do. So let's talk about how you got to where you are, because you did not go to college to learn communications, did you?
No, it was actually communications a struggle for me coming from the Philippines and learning the language here in the United States. So it took a while for me to, learn English very well, because even now I still struggle sometimes. But anyway, I think being in the business world, learning how to communicate with so many different types of people, you learn how to manage the business that way. You learn from each other, but actually, when you're dealing with so many different types of people. And I love that about the business. And from there, you become creative. And that's all what I did. Is I just really embrace my talent of being creative and, just understand what people's needs in terms of marketing, in terms of, connection, referrals, and I just really try to figure out how I can solve some of the problems that I hear from people.
Okay, so you moved from basically working in a cubicle in a finance type operation for healthcare.
Yes.
Okay, into running your own business, a real estate company, which forced you into the marketing and branding realm because you had to build an agency from the ground up. So talk about kind of that process and how that evolved into, because that I think was the genesis of getting you to where you are now.
Okay. Well, working for somebody else, I was in the healthcare for many years.
But you had no involvement in the media or that kind of stuff,
No,
because you're sitting in a
nothing.
cubicle all day long, right?
Nothing. It's all about computer programming, maintaining a database system. I mean, working for healthcare, it's
Right.
a big hospital, so totally different, system that I was dealing with. But I did work with a lot of corporate leaders.
Right.
A lot of them are healthcare professionals, so I was working with them on their cost accounting, productivity, budgeting, contract management is very different.
But nothing to do with their PR, their
nothing.
marketing, nothing like that.
Nothing, but
Yeah.
until I went and opened up a real estate brokerage.
Right.
Now, the real estate brokerage is totally different. I realized that learning being a real estate professional is totally different from how you have to deal with people. I have to learn the business from the ground up, and it was just an eye-opening for me. And then from there, I was listening to a lot of agents, because we did recruit a lot of agents for our company, I think around 50 agents, and hearing from what they need, I understand what's needed. And so being creative again is I was able to discover that I have gifts in marketing and in branding. I mean, the branding part actually is more based on how I created my own branding, which it wasn't really intentional. It just happened the way I was creating those community events. And because of that, people are coming to me, and I'm realizing that I created a brand because of what I was doing for the community. So branding is through the proven experience I've had for many years in putting together events. And I learned from that, and then now I'm teaching people how to create their own brand.
Okay, and so even before you learned branding, you had to think through some of that because I know you had to come up with a name for your real estate company, Community One, which was a brand,
Yes.
and it was a intentional brand of how you wanted that company perceived. Although at that point, I don't know that you had any real actual formal thoughts on that. It's just, but you kind of intuitively knew that.
Yes. I realize that we are a new company and we're competing with a lot of the big, companies in real estate. So you're talking about Coldwell Banker, Century 21, and we're here. Who is Community One Realty? Nobody knows that. So I have to figure out how to get the name out there. I just have to be visible, and I have to meet so many people. And I understand that, being proactive about joining some of the Chamber of Commerce, attending some of the networking meetings is a must for you to get your name out there. So you need to build the name. And that's the first thing I did, is to build the name and let people know what Community One Realty is about. And then from there, I think building the branding is the next step in order for people to work with you and trust that they can work with you. And that's the second step that I ended up creating for the company.
Okay, and then you moved to creating a nonprofit organization, and that had to be branded.
Well, the nonprofit organization was not one of my plans, but it ended up being that way because, I was kind of forced into doing it, which I was so blessed that I did.
Well, of course, but you
Yes.
started it. It's not like
I
it's not,
did.
it's not like you were forced. You weren't forced into it. It was people coming up to you and said, "Marie, you need to run this thing." You
Well, it was a
created it.
suggestion. It was a
You created it.
recommendation. They said that you had to be a nonprofit when you're doing
No,
all
but
these community events.
the suggestion was to take what you were already doing and make it a nonprofit. But no one's made you start what you were doing. You were starting by just helping the community.
Yes, that's true. That's correct. I was just there because of the down market. There were a lot of businesses that closed their services, and I felt bad. And so I thought, if I know how to promote and how to market, why can I not help the other businesses? So I started thinking about doing community events like a business expo. And my intention is to bring all these businesses out and get to see each other face to face and communicate what they need or what type of service they have so they can get more referrals. So I created one event right at the parking lot of where my office was before. And I brought in about 30 some, businesses. And then from there, it grew. And the next event that we did was at the Chaparral High School parking lot. And we ended up bringing about over 100 companies that ended up meeting and networking. And from there, they said I had to have a nonprofit, which I did because
Right.
it was for the community. It wasn't really intended for me. I wanted to do it for the community because that's what they suggested. So it took 2 years to start the nonprofit organization, and within that time frame, I also met you because you were one of my vendors during that time, and you actually helped me make the nonprofit organization be more organized, structured. You helped me bring more members into the nonprofit organization, and that was great. We created so many great things for the community. I was very happy about that.
Yeah, and so over the years it grew, and we did a lot of larger events. And then doing those events meant each of those events had to get branded and marketed and get out there. And so a lot of that progressive process of getting to where you are now involved having to learn how to use radio media, print media, all kinds of other different things. Social media was becoming a thing at that time, and so all that had to happen. So I see that process of, in order to make those events successful, being forced to learn branding and learn how to get out marketing, how to use social media, how to use traditional media.
Absolutely right. Because if it weren't for the nonprofit organization, I would have not known how to promote the events. There was a time where it went viral too on social media
That's right.
because of the the type of events that we were doing. We were doing fashion shows, and we brought in a lot of great people in the event. You know, the city officials were part of it too. They sponsored some of our events. And going through that process, yes, I did learn a lot on how to promote the event and how to bring the right people into the event and how to make it very entertaining and exciting and inspirational for so many people. So it was such a great experience for me to do the nonprofit. And then from there, I realized that this is what it was happening for me. It created a great branding, and I became known in the fashion industry, which is really interesting because I had no clue about fashion show. I'm not a fashion designer, but it brought me the fashion industry because of what I did in the community.
All right, so then it was a matter of taking, okay, so what we've learned from this, and can you apply it into a different business enterprise? Because the real estate business closed down, and you were working in another position, and you decided to start another company, and that was the Finest Women in Real Estate.
Yes.
Right. So we're gonna have to take a break. When we come back, we'll pick up at that point and talk about where that's gone from starting that one little idea of promoting some of the women you knew in the real estate business, and what that's become. This is Building Solid Foundations. We'll be right back after the short break. The guest today is Marie Waite, and don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Hi, this is Jim McLaughlin with Effective Action Consulting, and I've been a member of Fire Up Connect for, probably 3 years now. And what I really like about Fire Up Connect is the unique model that we go through, that we follow, the agenda, so to speak, in the meeting that really has us get engaged and involved with each other in the meetings. It's not that we're individuals, it's that we're all really working together to better ourselves, our businesses, and the community through the projects that we work on. So I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to network with people in this environment, and it's really impacted my business in a big way. So take a look.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about. So join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Real Men of Real Estate.
Men of Real Estate radio show here on KCAA.
Boats, mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically go to the radio station kcaaradio.com.
You can find us on your dial at 102.3 FM, 1050 AM, as well as 106.5 FM.
Are you a real estate investor looking for a new opportunity in one of the top tourist destinations in the world? Look no further. Welcome to Punta Cana. Perla Bahia is a private resort-style community in Punta Cana that consists of modern condos, custom villas, and various commercial amenities. So if you're interested in learning more or joining us on one of our monthly investment tours, don't hesitate to contact me today at 909-494-2280.
Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations. This is your host, Steve Matley. Today we're talking to Marie Waite. She is expert in branding, marketing, and we were talking in the first segment of her progress of going from working in a cubicle doing finance work, starting a real estate business, starting a nonprofit organization, all the events, and learning the process of branding, media, marketing in that process and where it's led. So the next step in the parade is you had an idea to help some of the ladies that you worked with in real estate. And you got together with a group of them and you formed kind of a little club, and tell us about that.
Well, initially, I was so busy with the nonprofit organization, I was trying to figure out how to help my existing clients. And I started thinking maybe I can get some help from the real estate professionals that are involved in the nonprofit organization. They were also part of it. And so I had a meeting with them and I said, look, you guys, would you be able to help me with some of my clients? And, because I can't take care of all of them. And I admire all of them. They have good heart and they are good at what they do. And I thought, I asked them and they all said yes. And from there I said, oh my, what amazing women.
So some of these women actually volunteered as models in your early fashion shows.
Yes, they were part of the
things, right?
fashion show
That's
too.
right, okay.
So they know exactly what I was doing for the community and they were very supportive of me. And they all wanted to support me also with my business. And remember, during this time, real estate professionals, they don't really help each other, especially if you're from different companies. But they all did because they knew what I was doing for the community. And I realized that these women had, they blessed me with their business, and I thought, okay, I wanted to promote them too. So I started thinking about, naming this group, and we came up with the name Finest Women in Real Estate. And so for me, it was just trying to promote the women that were willing to help me. And then you actually came to me and said, so what are you going to do with that name? You actually opened up my mind and said, Marie, you should make it this a business, a legal business entity. And you also taught me how to do trademark. I didn't know anything about trademark. I didn't know anything about copyright. You showed me all this process that helped me become a legit company, which is now the Finest Women in Real Estate.
Okay, and so Finest Women in Real Estate isn't just a group of women sitting around talking about real estate. You've got a lot of parts and pieces.
Yes.
All right, so it became, you got a couple things here. You have some books,
Yes.
right? Okay, so
Okay.
let's talk about the books that you put together. One book was 6 Essential Principles. Is that right?
This is the 6 essential principles of the finest women in real estate. And it's my first time to also publish a book.
Now
Yes.
you love to write. Is that correct?
Not really.
you like to read a lot, right?
I'm very intimidated about writing
Okay.
because coming from the Philippines and English as a second language is not really something I'm thinking of myself
Right.
doing. But because you helped me again, Steve Matley is such a hero.
Well, it's not me. It's not the book, but okay.
But he actually helped me, and we co-authored this book, the 6 essential principles.
Okay, so let's full disclosure on that. I didn't intend to co-author. What happened was Marie working on the book, she asked me for my help with some proofreading and guidance on that, which I was happy to give. And then I asked her, how come there's a couple of these chapters with nothing in it? She said, well, that's business structure, which is kind of your thing. I was kind of hoping you'd help me out with that. So I ended up writing those chapters as what I thought was a ghostwriter, and she put me on as
Yes.
a co-author. So that's how that kind of worked. Yeah.
And this book actually is pretty clever, where we came up with the 6 principles, which is the word finest.
Finest, that's right.
Finest. So that is really the
And it became an
chapter.
acronym for the
Yes.
6 key things that, not just women in real estate, but any real estate person who wants to be a professional and run a business ought to tend to create the real estate business.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes, and it's actually a really good book. I was able to share some of my stories in here, and then you coming in and helping us on the structure part of the business, which is really good because that's what I learned from you. You helped me build my business and set up the legal structure of it.
Okay, and then you have a sequel to that book.
Yeah.
But it's not more of the same information, right? It's not it's not elaboration on those 6 principles. It's entirely different take on it, and it's more of an anthology book.
That's correct. This is now called Living the 6 Essential Principles of Finest Women in Real Estate, and I have 6 agents that gave their perspective on each of the principles.
These are your finest women in real estate.
Exactly. They were actually also the cast of my TV reality show.
So we'll get to that one in a second
that
too.
we did for Finest Women in Real Estate. So these women, they have their own stories. They also shared why they were into real estate and their perspective of what the 6 essential principles is for them. And it was amazing how it all
So
came
they
about.
took the 6 essential principles from the first book, and then they just wrote what their take or their experience was using those. So then, from the books, you mentioned while we were talking about the books, there was this TV show thing. So what was that about?
Well, when I was meeting with all the finest women in real estate, I was actually watching a show, Shark Tank. And I had this craving of really promoting the women. I really want to promote them. And the only thing I can think of is to put them on a TV and telling the stories because they have incredible stories. So, I decided I'm going to go and try and pursue TV shows. And I met a director. I ended up talking to him about what I need to do, and he gave me some ideas. And then you also helped me understand how we can make this happen by raising the money. So the funding was an essential, part of this whole project. And I decided to go after the funding. So it took me 2 months to meet almost 100 real estate professionals and then meet with some of the investors. And I was able to raise the money for the TV reality show. So it was such a great experience for me because I didn't know anything about TV production, but going through the process and learning from the director and how he was running the production and the filming and then putting all the people that we need in the reality show, and I listened to a lot of their stories. It was such a great show for me.
So
Yes.
so you shot a pilot,
Yes.
right? A 1-hour pilot. And how did you, once you got the pilot done, what happened to it? Who saw it?
Well, we did a screening premiere in the ArcLight Cinema in Hollywood. We invited about 150 network distributors, and we watched the 1-hour episode. Part of it is after they see the show is to pitch it to some of the networks, which there's a couple of networks that we were eyeing on, and so we were able to do that, but we weren't successful in getting it through. And that was fine with me. It's a process. I learned a lot from it, and my goal is to build the branding for the finest women in real estate. It's a good start for me. So I from that network that we invited, I was introduced to a TV talk show host from One American Network, and he mentored me for a year to start doing TV talk shows for finest women in real estate. That's how I learned how to film TV talk shows.
Okay, so so you went from a reality show pilot to an informational talk show format.
Yes.
Okay, and then you ran that for a couple of years, I want to say, right? It was a couple of years.
It's over a year.
Until the pandemic
Yes.
sort of shut that down. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was able to produce 48 episodes of the Finest Women in Real Estate TV talk show, and something came out of it too. We ended up creating the Real Men of Real Estate TV talk show.
So that was the break off of that. And that was
Yes.
basically one where you had one for the women, so let's do one for the men. And so then you had 2 talk shows going on concurrently, right?
And then in addition to that, we ended up creating another show called The Business Doctor TV by Dr. Steven.
Okay, and so that was more of a business and entrepreneurship, I guess, consulting kind of a show.
That's correct.
That's right. Okay, and then I'm trying to think, was there other shows that came out of that?
Well, your show, Building Solid
Building
Foundation.
Solid Foundations. Actually, we started on a TV show before the pandemic. We went to the podcast format during the pandemic and have just kept it this way since then. But yeah, we actually did about 6 months of shows before we got shut down. The studio got shut down. And so then we went to, all the shows kind of went to a Zoom format briefly. And then when we came back around, the Real Men of Real Estate is now a podcast radio type show. This is now a podcast radio type show. But the podcast really took off during that time. And it seems to be more of a contemporary format than the TV shows we were doing. But it's all the same information, same guests, that kind of stuff. We just different format.
Yes. Well, one thing that I was very happy about the TV talk show is that the Real Men of Real Estate, we were able to air that on NBC on
Did
the
an
day
actual
of Super
TV
Bowl.
episode that got picked up by network television. That's right.
Yes, it was on Channel 7 here in San Diego, and it was the day on Super Bowl when we aired the show, and I was very, very happy with that. I was a little scared working with NBC because it took 3 days, and we were trying to pass the quality control and everything, but they were very professional, and I was working with 10 people within the organization, and it was very successful, and I was very happy about the result.
Putting out things on the streaming service is one thing. We do these shows here. We have some fluff factor in there. We don't have to be exactly on the second and those type of things. But when you go to actual network television, it's extremely tight. You're down to the nanosecond, and the quality level, the sound levels, the light levels, everything about it has to be to a quality standard, or they can't air it.
Yes.
And so it takes a lot more money, a lot more time, and a lot more work to do it. But it actually aired, and it was a good show. So from that, you have now these radio shows, these TV shows, and we also distribute these on a streaming service as well, the Building Solid Foundations channel on Roku, Amazon, and on Android. We stream those, and we also are connected now with KCAA Radio, which is an NBC affiliate. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to pick up that conversation where we left off there. This is Building Solid Foundations Radio on KCAA. I'm with Marie Waite in the studio today, and we'll be right back after this break.
FireUp Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. FireUp Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. FireUp Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Hi, this is Jim McLaughlin with Effective Action Consulting, and I've been a member of FireUp Connect for, probably 3 years now. And what I really like about FireUp Connect is the unique model that we go through, that we follow, the agenda, so to speak, in the meeting that really has us get engaged and involved with each other in the meetings. It's not that we're individuals, it's that we're all really working together to better ourselves, our businesses, and the community through the projects that we work on. So I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to network with people in this environment, and it's really impacted my business in a big way. So take a look.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about, so join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Real men of real estate.
Men of Real Estate Radio show here on KCAA.
Boats, mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically, go to the radio station kcaaradio.com.
You can find us on your dial at 102.3 FM, 1050 AM, as well as 106.5 FM.
Are you a real estate investor looking for a new opportunity in one of the top tourist destinations in the world? Look no further. Welcome to Punta Cana. Perla Bahia is a private resort-style community in Punta Cana that consists of modern condos, custom villas, and various commercial amenities. So if you're interested in learning more or joining us on one of our monthly investment tours, don't hesitate to contact me today at 909-494-2280.
Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley. Today we're talking to Marie Waite about her branding and media enterprise that helps entrepreneurs starting out of the real estate business, but all different entrepreneurs and business people are her clients in print media, social media, radio, television, streaming. And we were at the last segment we left off where the TV shows that she had started before the pandemic morphed into radio and podcast shows and actually got picked up by over-the-air network affiliate radio station in the LA market. So we're on KCAA, and this show's on KCAA. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the shows that you do are then on this station as well as my show, because my show was an outgrowth of some of that. So now we have broadcast radio, broadcast television. We have basically movie theater where the reality show appeared. We have books. We have what else we got? Magazines. So let's get to the magazines. So we go back to print media again. After the books, you created a couple magazines. And what do you got in there?
Well, I have a magazine for finest women in real estate. This is the second edition that we were able to publish.
And it's a very high quality print magazine.
Yes.
Yeah, so think on the level of a very high quality, the kind of magazine you would see like for very high-end homes and those kind of things. Mm-hmm. It's that quality of color and paper, yes.
Yes, well, the magazine provides a lot of information about the real estate professionals because, again, my purpose for the finest women in real estate is to brand them and to get to know them well, that you can trust them and that you know their way of business, that they're not just there to make money, they're there to really be a good real estate professional to help you buy and sell your home.
Okay, so the content of the magazine, it's obviously it's a profile of one of your finest women in real estate who's on the cover there.
Yes.
But it's not just a, here's some background information on these ladies. There's some actual information you can use.
Yes,
right?
I mean, you actually have an article here that provides some great information for people in regards to real estate. So
and there's other you got some contributions in there from some government leaders.
Yes,
right?
City officials. They talk about real estate market within their community. We also have some other businesses that are talking about how to improve your business process, or could be a lead generation. There's a lot of information.
Legal issues in there, I think. Is that right?
Yes, a lot of good information. So it's really not just for women magazine. It's for almost everybody, but giving good, valuable information.
Okay, and then you've got another enterprise you started. So after all this, you start a networking group.
That's
Okay,
right.
So the networking group is called Fire Up, and there's the Fire Up Live, which are live events you do that involve seminar type setups with people teaching things. It also involves awards. It involves banquets and dinners and night formals and that type of stuff. So all those type of events, though, that's under the Fire Up Live brand. You have the Fire Up Connect, which is the live and Zoom-based networking groups that meet and talk, okay? And so you've got this Fire Up concept. So talk to us about that, and you have a magazine connected to that too as well.
That's correct. Right. So Fire Up Live, after we did the TV or the movie screening in LA, I started thinking, okay, we need to do some training. So the Fire Up Live is a concept where I can bring all these finest women in real estate and also be able to educate other people in terms of how they do their business. And I brought in different businesses also, business leaders, like lawyers. You were one of those people that I brought into the panel. And the live seminar actually opened up so many doors for me. We did it initially in the city of Temecula. I ended up doing one in Escondido, one in North County, San Diego, and now we're in San Diego. So it's extremely
But they took
amazing.
different flavors, because originally it was kind of training, but then you did one that was a very formal type event and awards and those type of things. So I've seen that Fire Up Live brand go around pretty much any live event you do, whether it's a teaching event, an award event, a formal event, whatever it is.
Yes, I think because I partner with so many different
That's
types
right.
of people, and more ideas came into the picture to where we were doing dinner gala, and the last one, actually the one that we did in North County, San Diego, is at the Marriott Sheraton Hotel. We had over 300 people that had awards, and it was a great dinner, and we had entertainment.
And you had
So-
Wes Chandler, the former NFL football player, who was
Yes.
co-hosting with you.
That's
You had a singer from Earth, Wind, and Fire that appeared there. You had one of the well-known Filipino costume designers that was there. So you had quite a few people that of note there, as well as the rest of the attendees.
That's correct. And then it's a combination also of a seminar where we had speakers, like you
During
were
the
one of the
daytime, that's right.
speakers, and you had an opportunity to speak for 20 minutes about the business. And there were so many businesses that came about out of that seminar. There were a lot of business transactions going on. So I like to see that also as part of the Fire Up Live
Yeah.
event.
So a daytime seminar and then an evening
Yes.
kind of formal dinner.
Now, the
Yes.
Fire Up Connect is an online, it used to be a restaurant in-person meeting. But because of
the
COVID,
restaurant's
we
shut
ended
down.
up being 100% online. And what it did for me is open up a lot more opportunity to meet people from other states. So now I have members coming from Washington, from Chicago, from New Mexico, from Florida. And because of this connection, I was able to get a lot of good people that referred me some of the people that I need for other projects. Like we are, working on real estate land development projects. One of my connections was through someone in New York, and that guy from New York ended up connecting me from the people in Canada, where he became one of our biggest and
He became a
largest
buyer.
investor.
He ended up buying
Yes.
one of our projects. That's right.
Yes.
Okay, so show that magazine you have there.
Yeah, so the magazine for the Fire Up Connect is now we are featuring Martha Rasso, who is one of my members from Chicago, and she is a mathematician, business
So
analyst.
I see Martha, I see
Yes.
Michelle Estelle on there, I see Lori McNeil, Brian George. These are all people that are part of your network, and
Yes.
they're all live in different states.
Yes, Brian George is from Washington. He is he does tax planning. And Michelle Estelle is a mortgage loan officer, and now she's also a life coach, and she is from our community, city of Temecula. Lori McNeil is from another state, and she is
Idaho?
a media coach. And I'm trying to figure if it's Oregon or no, I don't think it's
Idaho?
Yeah, that's it. So many people from different states.
Somewhere where they grow potatoes.
Yeah, so there's so many people that were involved because of, again, they're coming from different
That's right.
locations.
Yeah, and Lori's a professional speaker. She travels all over the place speaking. That's right.
That's right, yes.
Okay, so you've got and these are magazines that you produce on a regular basis. So more of those are coming out. You'll have more books in the series coming out. You're working on another book that's more of a full-size tutorial book on pretty much everything having to do with marketing and branding. I know that's in the
Yes.
works right now. Probably be coming out sometime next year. Is that right?
Yes, I'm hoping that I can get it out next year.
But that's a how many chapters in that book?
19 chapters.
19 chapters, and it's going to be most people entrepreneurs, they put books out, these small little books with brief thing. This is an actual full thicker
Yes.
meatier.
And
yes.
remember, I was not even thinking about being an author because I was afraid to even publish a book. And you helped me, and now I'm doing more books than ever, which is really interesting how when you learn something and you just, you master it, and then you ended up being more good in producing it.
Okay, so all the parts and pieces, traditional print media, broadcast media, social media, magazines, the books, the live events, covering pretty much all the bases here. So you then don't just do these things on your own. You actually help other people to do these things. You help people to create their own radio show or podcast. You help people to think about how to start their own television show, how to put a book together if they want to. So tell us about that.
Well, I always think that when you learn something, it's always good to pass it on and help other people do the same thing. I mean, we're not getting any younger. We're getting older, but we want to make sure that the next generation can do the same thing and be able to get the same blessings. So so I help people one-on-one most of the time and show them how it works and then so they can do it on their own. So actually, Martha is now publishing a book. It's called Business Diva, and she ended up also working with a lot of women in her community, and she's also doing a lot of live events. So I was very proud that she's taking a lot of my advices and recommendations of what she needs to do for her business, and now she is shining in her community. Amazing what she has done.
And the radio shows like the Finest Women in Real Estate, the International Wealth Builders, those shows you actually designed, and the Fabulous Lifestyle Show. Those are all designed to help people that want to have a show by starting somewhere. They can come in and guest host or become a recurring host on that show in a rotating type setup, to learn how to do it, see how much they like it, build up their own, I guess, flavor of how they want to do their show, and then they could start their own regular show if they want to.
Yes.
It's a kind of a training almost. It's good, they're good, solid shows, but it's a way for people to get going in it. To start, because most people don't know how to start, and to start with, or go to zero from I have a weekly show is a lot of work.
That's what we did with the Fabulous Lifestyle. I was approached by a radio producer, and he said, he wants me to be the host for the radio show. And initially, he's thinking me hosting all the shows we were talking about: food, fashion, and finance. But then I started thinking, well, there's other people that can host. I want to bring them in, and maybe they can talk about the different topics instead of just being me alone. So it really worked out, because I remember bringing in Kim Yater for the foundation. We have Liam Watkins for the food segment. And then we had Jonathan Bash on the fashion.
That's right.
And then I brought you in for finance.
finance,
So
that's right.
it was really a good combination of people learning how to host. And then now Kim has her own radio
That's right.
show.
That's right. And this
So
broke off
she
of there
spin
too.
off. And yes.
So we're going to take another break here. When we come back, we're going to pick up with the final segment with Marie Waite, talking about really all things media, branding, and marketing, and her journey to learn it and the process that she does. We'll be right back.
FireUp Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. FireUp Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services, including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing, and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. FireUp Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Hi, this is Jim McLaughlin with Effective Action Consulting, and I've been a member of FireUp Connect for, probably 3 years now. And what I really like about FireUp Connect is the unique model that we go through, that we follow, the agenda, so to speak, in the meeting, that really has us get engaged and involved with each other in the meetings. It's not that we're individuals, it's that we're all really working together to better ourselves, our businesses, and the community through the projects that we work on. So I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to network with people in this environment, and it's really impacted my business in a big way. So take a look.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about. So join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Real men of real estate.
Men of Real Estate radio show here on KCAA.
Boats, mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically, go to the radio station KCAAradio.com
You can find us on your dial at 102.3 FM, 1050 AM, as well as 106.5 FM.
Are you a real estate investor looking for a new opportunity in one of the top tourist destinations in the world? Look no further. Welcome to Punta Cana. Perla Bahia is a private resort-style community in Punta Cana that consists of modern condos, custom villas, and various commercial amenities. So if you're interested in learning more or joining us on one of our monthly investment tours, don't hesitate to contact me today at 909-494-2280.
Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley. We've been talking today with actually the producer of this show and someone who actually helped connect me with the radio station, Marie Waite. She is a marketing and media expert that helps business owners, entrepreneurs, and just really anybody learning how to use print media, social media, broadcast media, and really a holistic approach to creating a reputation, a brand, how to get your message out there. So, Marie, in the last segment, we kind of left off. You were talking about the Fabulous Lifestyle was the first show you did with KCAA coming back out of the pandemic, and how it was structured around having a different host for a different type of topic related to a fabulous lifestyle. Now, since then, some of those hosts have decided they didn't want to do shows. Some hosts have moved on to creating their own shows, even on other stations. And then, obviously, I moved out of there. I first went over to help you start the Real Men of Real Estate show, and then relaunched my Building Solid Foundation show that had been a television show before the pandemic. So that all kind of, by the time we went through that, then the studio that we had been using was reopened again. There was an opening at the station for a time frame, so all that worked. But now you're building your Fabulous Lifestyle. You've got a different stable of hosts talking about, I always call that the show with all the F words. It's the food, fun, foundations. They always change, but they all start with an F. And so it talks about
Friends.
Yeah, friends. So now you have a different lineup and some different topics. So what's that show look like now?
So next year, starting next year, I would have Ricky Perry, who's hosting the fun segment of
Now,
the show.
if you don't know who Ricky Perry is, that means you have not been listening to this show like you should. She was on my show just last month, and you can catch that on the KCA archives, or you can go to Roku, Amazon Fire, or to your Android app, Building Solid Foundations channel, and catch that show there.
Yes, and then on the fashion, we have Sherry Rovirosa, who we met at the James Malinchak event.
Okay, and she is, I would refer to her as Grandma Dynamite. She's got, 11 kids, and I think she's got grandkids now. Doesn't look anything like it.
Mommy Majestic is her name.
Mommy Majestic, yeah. She's, actually a fascinating woman, and her husband's a really interesting gentleman, too.
She's a fashion designer.
Yes. And so she's going to be on your show as well. And then who else do you have lined up?
Martha Razzo is doing the finance segment.
Okay.
And she's our current host for that segment.
Great. And so that's a show that was designed and is continuing to do what it was designed to do, which is continually evolve and rotate hosts through with different topics that are all related to living a fabulous lifestyle.
That's correct.
From that show, the Real Men of Real Estate launched out of that with a similar format, but it's all based on real estate. And then you have some other shows. The International Wealth Builders Association, IWBA show, came out of another real estate-based show, but not limited to men. That's right. And then my show kind of broke out of some of that too. Again, we had this show as a TV show, but all that timing worked out. There was a good thing in between until we could get this show relaunched. About a year ago, we relaunched this show again in its podcast radio format. So let's talk about if people want to find out how to work with you, because you have a lot of ways that people connect with you. You've got your Fire Up Connect group, which is a great way for people to connect with you and get to know you and the people that are around you. But let's talk, how do people contact you?
Well, they can just look at my website, mariewaite.com. That's MARIEWAITE.com.
Okay.
They can send me their contact information and tell me what they wanted to do. They can see everything about what I do radio show, TV show, magazine publication, everything is
So
in
there's
there.
links to all the other things in there.
Exactly.
So that'll get them to Finest Women in Real Estate, to Real Men of Real Estate, to International Wealth Builders, to Fire Up Connect, to all those different pieces.
Yes,
Okay.
everything is all connected in that website. So they can easily, or they can call me directly at my cell at 951-378-5316.
Okay, 951-378-5316 if you want to contact her directly, or go to the website, mariewaite.com. Now, there are people listening to this that may be a little overwhelmed by all we've talked about today. They go, oh my gosh, books, magazines, TV shows, radio shows, social media. There's LinkedIn. There's you're very active on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all these other things out there. So for the people that are just thinking, I just want someone to tell me what I should even start with, they could contact you and ask you. pick your brain a
Yes,
little
of
bit?
course.
Okay.
You know, remember, I was from the Philippines. I didn't even know how to speak English very well. So I can understand somebody starting from scratch, and I can definitely show them the way.
Right. You always have to start somewhere. And again, that's why when we started the show, I wanted to start with the point where you originally came from. You were working in a cubicle crunching numbers. Nothing to do with social media, any presence or anything in the organization. Just one of those hidden people back in that room back there sitting in one of the cubes.
Exactly.
And that's where it leads. Now, a lot of this is things that are self-learned, but there's also been a lot of teachers and gurus and consultants in your past that you've learned from through this process. And that expertise, then you kind of put your own little flavor on it and make it your own little package. So people can contact Marie if you're interested to learn how to even start with the point of how do I even start a brand? How do I create a brand? Where do I start from? A lot of people talk about branding. It can be overwhelming and confusing. And if you ask a dozen branding experts what branding is, you'll get a dozen different answers that don't always line up. But essentially all it is your perception out there. What's your reputation professionally? What do people think of you when they hear your name, or do they hear your name? The branding is creating that reputation, and the marketing piece of it is getting that out so people actually hear it and understand it. And it's controlling the narrative about who you are, what you are, and why you exist, and what you can provide for people. So that's basically it in a nutshell. So Marie, any final thoughts? Anything you want to share with our listeners today?
Well, embrace your talent, and don't be afraid, and reach out to people that surrounds you, and just share your vision.
Okay. And one thing I learned long ago, and it's one way I met you and a lot of people that we've worked with, and that's just show up and act like you're interested. I say that as a person that doesn't like to show up a lot. I like to stay. I'm a homebody, to be honest with you, but I force myself to go out and meet people, and every time I do, good things come out of that. Because if you want to have any kind of business, you can't do it as a solo operation, unless you want to do pottery or something, I guess. But for most things, you need to work with other people. And Marie is a great connector and can teach you how to get connected and what kind of message you need to share with people.
I'm actually doing a 2-hour workshop of getting them the guidance on how to build their personal and business branding.
Okay, so marieway.com to get that information and find out how to be part of that. We're about out of time here, Marie. I want to thank you for being on Building Solid Foundations.
Thank you.
Our guest today has been Marie Waite. Go to marieway.com and find out whatever information you want to make your business better, bigger, and scale it up. This is Building Solid Foundations. I'm your host, Steve Matley. Until next week, go do something different this week.
Open for takeout and delivery, El Tapiac